What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of TRIFLIX Cast, a show where we interview some of the innovative and creative people in the area. Today we have DrJoJo, and I can't take him seriously right now.
Doctor.
Doctor. Do you actually have any certification for that? Doctorate?
I do not.
No. Okay. So DrJoJo is an esports champion now. Is that correct?
Champion. NBA 2K League champion.
NBA 2K champion. And today we're going to be talking about his experience that has led him into this profession of playing video games for a living. What some may consider a dream come true. For him, this is just his reality and what he does every day. And with that, I think that's pretty interesting in itself. So would you like to kind of run through what it is that you do, like with this team? Like what does this daily basis look like?
Yeah, it's much like any other traditional sports team. Although time is a little different for us gamers. We stay up way later. We get into work about noon, I'd say. We stay till 1, 2 at night. The day looks like from 12 to 6ish. We play scrims. We'll play against other teams. I live in Minnesota playing. I guess just probably start with that. The 2K League there's 21 teams now in the NBA that have joined the league. All the players fly to that market, their local market, live there for 6 months and play 2K. So our day to day is get to the facility about noon, play till 6 against teams, and then we'll eat dinner, and then the rest of the evening is watch film, play against each other, play other games, and just chill and play video games.
So you get to sleep in till noon.
Absolutely.
You play, and you get to eat. Is the food covered?
It is not covered.
No. Okay.
So they take us out sometimes. It's a very nice places, I will say.
Yeah.
But no, most of the food is not. But our housing is paid for, and
That's awesome.
it is literally a dream job.
Is it like a dorm, or like what is this housing environment like?
Apartment complex. Downtown Minneapolis.
Do you have your own one for yourself, or do you just split?
two to a room.
Okay. That's
but
awesome.
we will have our own room, but two to an apartment.
Mm-hmm. And you're getting paid on top of this, or is
Absolutely.
This? So they pay for your board. Occasionally you'll get a meal. They're paying you a paycheck. You get to sleep in. You play video games, and then when you said review film, is that reviewing some of the games
we'll watch our own film, or we'll watch other teams that we're about to play that week or upcoming.
So it in a way, a lot of people kind of look down on things that kind of outside the mold. So for a long time, you had like gymnasts and cheerleading that wasn't considered a sport because it didn't fit the mold of a bunch of guys beating the crap out of each other in a stadium. And now we have esports coming in where you have, 5 to 10 guys, I assume, depending on what type of game you're playing, competing, and people might not take you too seriously.
Yeah, it's a different world. You can tell when you talk to folks that are like 50 and older, they completely don't understand what's going on. They just do not get it at all. But
I mean, I'm younger, and I still like this. Kind of blows my mind that this is even possible.
It's interesting how the 12 to 20-year-olds, they get it like that. Like they understand it because there's so many people that play the game, and it's just like anything else. When there's a competitive side about it, people are drawn to it, and it's entertaining. People enjoy watching basketball, and they enjoy watching video games because it's something they can relate to.
Yeah.
So many people are play video games and enjoy that. So then when they can see other people doing it at a very high level, they want to do the same thing, and they want to take what your skills and implement them to what they're doing. And it's awesome how video games can bring people together.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how old you are, you can play. It doesn't matter where you start at. We all start at the same level, and we can all work out. It doesn't matter. You could have any physical problems. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be out running and jumping and have a Michael Jordan vertical. It doesn't matter if you have Reggie Miller shot. You can still get on 2K and play and be one of the best.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe kind of like what's led you into this role?
Yeah, definitely. That's it's been a long journey. I started playing basketball when I was 2.
Physical basketball, like
yeah,
you're out
actual
with the ball,
basketball shooting. I played. I mean, we would set up in our house. We would have Tykes hoop. I was running around when I was 4 or 5 with my twin brother and older brother, and our whitey tighties with the Tykes hoops on one end and the other Tykes on the other, and we'd have a full court basketball going on. We were played since we were 2, and we'd play until we were like 10, and then we went outside and we'd play up on the 8-foot hoop, and then we'd go to the 9-foot hoop and 10-foot hoop, and we just play ball. Like, our whole childhood was basketball. It didn't matter. And if it wasn't basketball season, we played baseball, football. It didn't matter. We'd have friends that don't really play sports, and we drag them in and play sports. We were so passionate about playing.
Super active.
Active. We love playing any kind of sport. It didn't matter what it was. We were super competitive. And then when I got older, I played high school basketball. Ended up getting a scholarship to play college basketball at Cincinnati Christian University. So I ended up going there for a year. I ended up having shoulder surgery, which is kind of what knocked me off of playing real life basketball, and then I switched to video games because I didn't have anything else to do. My shoulder was broke, so I'm sitting there with my shofirst in my sling, and I would play 2K, and I realized I was pretty good at it. So that first semester and some of the second semester, I played 2K. I would play for 10, 12 hours a day. I would play, go to class, come right back, play, get my homework done, play, and just play until...
Just recreationally, there was nothing, like you weren't planning on getting scouted at this point?
No, I was not. I was just having fun, kind of just enjoying college as best I could since I had a torn shoulder and was rehabbing. So after probably, I want to say that in that second semester, they announced that the 2K League is coming up. So I said, my aunt sent me the article, and I was like, she was like, is this something you could do? Are you good enough to do this? And I was like, I don't know, but I'll try. So the next, I want to say November, they had a combine mode. So in the game, there's a combine mode. 72,000 people tried out. You can go into the game. It didn't matter what level you were at. You could go in, play with 9 other people, and try to do the best you could. They would keep track of your scores, win percentage, stats, all sorts of things. And if you were one of the top 250 people, you got qualified to be in the draft. And they went through an interview process and narrowed that down to like 150, I want to say.
Wow.
So I was in that 250. So I made the first cut in the first season.
Do you know how anywhere in that you placed? Or
I don't know. I don't know exactly. It was just 250. They sent out emails. I got one, and then they narrowed that down to the 102. And the commissioner of the league called the 102. I didn't get it. So this was the season 1. So I didn't make the season 1, and that was really tough. I tried so hard to play this game and make it to the league and didn't make it. Ended up dropping out of college of Cincinnati Christian. There was some stuff going on that I wasn't a fan of. Ended up leaving college, went home. So here I am. I tried to make the league, didn't make it, and I'm gonna drop out of college, living in my parents' basement,
playing video games
for no money. And this is kind of my story of not depression, but just
kind of like self-actualization.
Like, wow, this is what I'm doing right now, trying to make this league, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And I didn't make it the first season. But this is what I love about just, if you're something you're passionate about and you want to do it, and you obviously you don't want to, if it's unrealistic, you don't want to try to do it. But it's something that I really thought I could do and was passionate about. So I kept trying, and I ended up, I got an internship with Pacers Gaming. Went there, who is one of the 2K League teams. So I was an intern for them for the first season, and just learned everything I could about esports and gaming and whatever else I could learn, and ended up finishing that internship. And then season 2 here comes around, and I'm trying again to make the league, and ended up doing the whole process again, getting in the league, making it, getting drafted to the Timberwolves, and winning the championship.
Right on. That's pretty neat. That's a very unique story. You mentioned earlier, you're talking about like people, anybody can play 2K regardless of a lot of like physical ailments or whatever that might be. And then you're, kind of living that, where you had like the torn shoulder, going through rehab, you're still getting to play recreationally. And then you kind of worked your way through it. So after the 102, right, and you come back, was it considered like a walk-on, or like, I'm not too familiar with esports and how that works. Like you just got drafted in, or?
So the first season, I didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the second season come around, they had the same process. You go to the combine. Every team could keep up to 3 people the first season.
Okay.
So then there was opportunity for more people to get drafted. The whole process was you send an application, resume, and then you get interviewed by the 2K League, whoever's there, the moderators, and then they narrowed that down to the 150. Then that 150 went into the draft. They had a draft in Brooklyn, just like an NBA draft.
Yeah.
You could go. I didn't go. I stayed home with my family. And then the Timberwolves interviewed me that week and ended up getting drafted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you make it sound simple, but I'm sure,
I'm
sure that was a really long process.
It was, and it was definitely up and downs. And I'll give you a story about. It was. I'm having a hard time trying to put everything in this short little time.
So many ideas here.
I know this is my first podcast. I'm trying to
still
figure it all out.
Great.
But there was this. It's just it's an awesome story of.
We'll have to chill on the tap-in.
Yes.
I think you got your foot bouncing on the table.
I'm just active.
So
I'm
much
ready
energy.
to go. You know what I mean?
You'd mentioned that
I'm pumped.
Have a lot
I'm
of energy.
so pumped to be here right now. Dude, this is amazing.
I'm glad to have you.
Okay, I'm gonna calm down, not hit anything.
No, it's okay.
The story of just working hard for stuff you love and not getting discouraged and just doing your due diligence every day, working to get better, just like this company, just day to day. You know, it's going to be a grind. You're trying to build up and figure out new things, and there's going to be bumps along the road. But when they sent out, I was waiting on the email to get into the 150, and I knew if I made it to the draft pool, I was going to get drafted. I knew that either the Pacers Gaming or Timberwolves were probably going to draft me. So this was like the moment of, if I get the email, I'm good. If I don't, obviously you don't get the email, you're not in.
Right.
So I took a trip down to watch my twin brother who plays at Covenant College in Georgia. It was, I forget what game it was probably just a regular season game. Went down there. Their whole team knows that I'm trying for the league. So I'm watching them warm up in the auxiliary gym. There was a girls game going on in the regular gym. And I looked at my phone. I'm just waiting. The head coach of Pacers Gaming gives me a text, said, "Did you get it?" I go, shoot. My email hadn't popped up, so I didn't think I got it. So my heart sank. I looked through my email, didn't get it. It's like, So I was like, might as well check my promotions in your email box. I was like, maybe it's somewhere in there. I checked the promotion. Boom, it's right there.
Right.
And it says, "Congratulations, you made the 2K League top 150. You're in the draft pool." And I remember putting my phone down, just jumping up, screaming, "Yeah, I did it!" And looking at Noah, and just Noah came over, gave me a huge hug, and the other teammates were all like, "Congratulations, Joey! Yeah, let's go!" And so it was just like I'll never forget that moment of just the relief of, wow,
just pure joy.
We finally made it. Like, I left college, stopped playing. Stopped working, was living at home, like working for this one thing for 2 years, basically 3 years since I went to college. And just to have that burden lifted was, it's overwhelming just thinking about it. Yeah. It's great.
Okay. So talk a little bit about who you are, why it is that you're doing what you're doing. You had this big background of always being athletic. You got put down for a minute, and you still found a way to find like some sort of release as you're
stay in sports.
Exactly.
And to be a part of an NBA organization is incredible.
So when you dropped out of the college, you mentioned that you had maybe a scholarship to go there, or you were just playing ball at Cincinnati?
I got a scholarship to go play at Cincinnati Christian.
So were you released from that during the injury, or did they want you to play and you're like, I'm done?
They wanted me to play. They had a coaching change, and there was just some things going on at the school. I wasn't a fan of the academic side of it, so I ended up just leaving.
What were you studying while you were there?
I was studying business with concentration in entrepreneurship.
I guess that'll still help you out in some way there.
Yeah, some ways.
Yeah.
We learned some stuff. Absolutely.
Is it something that you're still interested in, or was it kind of like a filler? Like, what pushed you to even go into that?
It was kind of let me get a broad degree so I can do whatever I want to afterwards. And I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do.
Right.
I knew I wanted to play basketball. So that's why, basketball's been my thing since I was born.
Right.
So it was just and my older brother played professional basketball in Germany and Lithuania. My twin brother still plays college ball. It's just, that's what my family does. So it was kind of like, you got to go do this. Although I wasn't a huge fan of going to school, it was just something I felt like I needed to do.
It was like the next step, right?
It was the next step, yeah. But I mean, I'm definitely not I'm more of a believer of you don't have to have a degree to make a living, but obviously it is helpful, and many people use it every day.
Yeah, if you get one, that's awesome. I think mine was in engineering. I know that wasn't a guess. Mine's in engineering, and right now I'm not doing a whole lot in engineering.
Yeah,
I work with a lot of local companies, and you'd mentioned that you got to grind, you got to build things up. That brings us to today's sponsor, TRIFLIX.com. If you're interested in any media needs, whether that's photo, video, web, graphics, podcasting, you guys want to rent out the studio, come on down. We're Columbus, Indiana. We do travel, and if you guys are interested in hiring our services or being on the podcast, go on TRIFLIX.com and shoot us a message on the contact page. But let's bring this back into you. What are your goals long term? Like, I mean, right now it's kind of like you're going day to day at this point. Right now it sounds like you're in the off season. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're in the off season now. The day to day looks like, you kind of depend what you're trying to do. My goal is would like to stream and put out content, YouTube, Twitch, different things like that. But I'm kind of in between where I'm still trying to figure out what my off season is going to look like. The biggest thing is making it back into the league in season 3. So the expansion draft happens in a month or so. If I don't get picked up there, they'll have the actual draft.
Yeah, you mentioned teams get to retain 3 out of how many is on a team generally?
There's 6 on a team. You can retain 3. So that was done a couple weeks ago. The Timberwolves kept Bear the Beast, J Money, and I Feast.
Congrats to them, of course.
Congrats to them, absolutely. They well deserving, but that left me out.
Yep.
So I'm waiting to hear if I get retained or if I'll be thrown back into the draft pool again.
Do you have to compete again to make that top 250?
If you were in the league previous season, you're automatically into the draft pool. So that's a big plus.
Well, there's still hope here, right?
Absolutely.
Like there's no reason to feel down. So do you know Shroud's story?
I don't know his story.
Okay, so Shroud, for people that don't know, I definitely into like streaming. I love watching streamers. I love watching gamers, people that play video games for entertainment, for education, whatever the reason is. Shroud is a phenomenal beast whenever it comes to first-person shooters. Basically, like he'll play other games occasionally, but FPS is the way to go. And he was like a walk-on. He grew up playing video games. He blew up on Reddit. People loved his highlight videos because the dude would just completely one versus an entire army destroy everyone in the game. And then he got put on walk on. He did poorly, did well, he did poorly, kept getting picked up, dropped off on retainers, and now he doesn't need a team. He retired at like the age of 24, and all he does is play video games on stream. So it's like
that would be the goal.
Yeah,
that would be the ultimate goal, to be able to do that.
You just, and it's so like, I want to say it's simple, and I know it takes so much hard work, but if you have a good personality and people enjoy watching you either based on skill or being around you and kind of enjoy your vibe. I mean, it's the same reason people watch podcasts or watch streamers or anything of that nature.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think you have the energy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try. Streaming is very hard, that I've learned, especially as a new streamer and in 2K, because 2K isn't the most popular game. There's Fortnite, that's Apex, there's Call of Duties, all those mainstream games that and League of Legends and Overwatch and all the games that just take over. 2K is a little smaller, but there's still, if you have that personality, like you said, and that energy, and you can build a community and interact with your viewers, there's definitely opportunities there. Yeah.
So I assume that you're playing on a PC when you're doing these competitions, is that right?
Yes, it is on PC. You have the opportunity to choose an Xbox controller or PlayStation controller, but then the off season we're playing on Xboxes or PlayStations.
Right. Okay. And when talking about streaming, like, are you interested in playing other games outside of just 2K?
I play Fortnite, Apex Legends, League of Legends, mostly those games, but I stick to 2K, especially now that I'm in the off season trying to get picked back up.
Right.
I'm trying to show my skills.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy Fortnite. Fortnite's probably my favorite game right now, just because of there's so many different things that you can do in the game, and building and editing and the fancy plays, and just the excitement and the competitive side of it with the new modes they put in is what I love. I love the competition. I love competition.
And are you competing in these environments? PC, I assume, is this controller again? Are you doing mouse and keyboard?
Console gang. Console gang
always.
all the way.
Oh,
I am a big console gang.
Yeah.
Nick Merckx fan.
All right.
Love Nick Merckx.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Nick Merckx.
He's a beast.
I believe it. And for people that don't know, it is very controversial to be one side or the other, whether you're console or PC. There's people always going to look down on you, but at the end of the day, it's what do you enjoy playing on, you know? And right now, I'm a huge fan of Apex. I play WoW on the side, but Apex is a really solid game. And I'll play PC. But
Are you on PC?
I play on PC, but
Okay.
I use a controller.
Ah.
So I'm
Get
hated.
those frames.
I'm hated by everyone.
Hey, it gives you the best chance.
It does, and actually, a lot of games are starting to go more cross-platform. A lot of
Big time. They need to.
They do. They really do. And a lot of people are kind of concerned about, you know, the fairness of it. Do you think as far as esports goes, they're always going to kind of keep it separate, or do you think that's potentially something in the future?
Tricky one, because it is. There's definitely an advantage on PC because of just the movement, how fast you can move, how especially for games like Fortnite, the editing. But console players have shown that you can be almost that good. It's just it takes a lot of skill and practice, and you gotta have the scuff controllers and have a couple extra buttons. But I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't really thought about it too much for the competition.
Consider competing against somebody on computer?
I don't want to.
You don't?
I really don't want to.
It's scary.
It's scary. You know when you're going against them too, because they're doing 90s, cranking 90s, and editing out.
See, I don't know what that would be like to play on in 2K, because I'm used to the FPS, which you can move like 90 degrees on a controller takes about, you know, half a second, versus with a mouse you can do it in a tenth of the second, right? So, you know, 5 times faster. Yeah. So I don't know, in 2K, do you think there is a pretty big advantage of playing with a mouse and keyboard?
I don't think so. I don't, because it's the way that you move. I don't know if you could do it well. I watched so our PG Bear the Beast was MVP of the finals. Took a trip over to China a couple weeks ago to promote the league, be a little 2K League ambassador, and they were playing on keyboard and mouse. I've never seen it, and I'm curious. I'm about to ask him what that was like and if he'd played on it. Yeah, because I've never seen anybody play keyboard and mouse for 2K. I've just always seen a controller. I used to play backyard basketball with the keyboard and mouse.
Dude, that's a flashback. All right.
Pablo Sanchez and Pete Wheeler.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh yeah.
That was the way to go back before like people had like high speed internet and you could stream games and all that.
Yeah.
Like,
all the backyard games. I love them.
Backyard games. Yeah. So
good childhood memories.
We were talking about your college and talking about kind of almost falling into esports. Did you have an original vision? Like, you just wanted to, did you think you were going to go pro? Did you think you were just going to stop college? Like, what was your plan growing up of what am I going to be when I become an adult?
When I was little, the dream was to be an NBA player. So when I found out that the NBA had a video game league, I said, I'll be an NBA player. Yeah. Quote unquote. I'll be one. And so now I'm an NBA employee playing virtual basketball. So yeah. Call me an NBA player.
Of course. Dr. JoJo, the NBA player.
2K.
All right.
Slide that in at the end.
Yeah. And it is a really big market is the thing. So a lot of people aren't aware of how large esports is and the projections of its actual growth cycles.
Because you don't see them there in their rooms playing video games all day long.
Of course. And it's only like 10 years old. Like, esports is not old. And you know, the oldest, as far as I'm aware, would go back to like League of Legends and maybe like Counter-Strike probably.
That's interesting. I first got into League of Legends going to Minnesota. One of our 6-man, Nacho is his name. Call him Nacho. Big on League of Legends. So we all ended up playing League of Legends almost more than 2K. In all of our free time, we would be playing League of Legends. Yeah. And we were terrible, but we would do 3-on-3s with our coach and with our 6-man, and we would play 3-on-3s against each other in the ARAM mode and just yell at each other and just trash talk the entire night. It was a lot of fun.
So that's what I was going to ask is, what do you do in your free time? Like,
you play video games.
You still play video games?
We play video games. That's what we do. It's we love doing it. Yeah. So why not? It's just, I mean, our work is our hobby. So why not just keep doing it? We absolutely love it. It's the perfect job. Yeah. We love it.
How long, like longevity wise, what is esport career look like as far as length? What age do people usually start, retire?
For different games, it varies. For some of the FPS games, your first-person shooters. For those who don't know. Yes.
First-person shooters. That's where you'd have generally a weapon, a gun of some sort. You're shooting at enemies. You have multiple people playing against you, generally speaking.
Yes, those are more younger players, I would say, at the competitive mode. But then with the 2K, the reflexes aren't as necessary to have. So I think the oldest player in the league was 34. Could be wrong, but there are some older guys.
Yeah.
And you can play. I would say some of the best players are in their 30s.
Yeah.
So you can definitely play this for a while.
Do you feel like having had played collegiate and high school and having a really extensive knowledge of basketball as a whole has helped enable you in any way?
Absolutely. A lot of the game is pick and roll. You can run zone, you can run man, you can trap, you can run plays. Our team, we were different. We were known as the team that ran plays, and that's strongly to me and Bear's basketball. He played college basketball as well, our point guard, and then I played IRL basketball as well. And just have that IQ and know what the other teammate's doing, what you're looking for, back doors, how the defense is playing. Just simple basketball IQ goes a long way in 2K.
Yeah. All right. And was there anything that I guess kind of evolved throughout this period of time as far as like where you whenever you first started and you entered the league and you were just going from being excited to even get an email to now you're on like you were trying to make retainer, like what's your thoughts?
Oh, definitely. There was a big switch. So I got there and I was super happy to be on the team, and then it kind of switches to, okay, this is my job now. This it is fun, but this is my job, and if we don't win, I'm not getting kept. This is my job security, all that sort of stuff. You start thinking about it, and it's taught me a lot how to be a professional, how to handle my business, how to just get things done. But we ended up we started the season 3-6. Our coach got fired. One of my roommate requested a trade. So we're sitting at 3-6, no coach, and one of our best players requested a trade because he didn't like that we were 3-6. So we're out of the playoffs picture pretty much. We have to win out to get to the playoffs. We ended up getting our vice president of technology, Justin Butler. He came in to be the intern coach, did a fantastic job. Absolutely love JB. Just phenomenal. Put in so much time for us. Really helped us turn the season around. And then we traded Hood for J Money. So J Money came in, and that's when the season turned around. And we had to win out to make the playoffs. We ended up winning every game, and then the final game we had to win this last game to win it, and we hit a game winner 3 to win the game to send us to the playoffs. And then we end up sweeping the Kings first round playoff, sweeping the Warriors second round, and then going to a best of 5 against the 76ers and winning it game 5 by like 15 to win the championship.
Dude.
So it was just a crazy sports story.
Yeah, dude, that is amazing.
Being 3-6 out of the playoffs, basically having to win out every game.
This is like the modern day version of, like any of the popular sports movies from the last like 30 years. But the thing is, esports doesn't have that, that pop culture around it yet. Yeah. But, 10, 20 years from now, I'm not going to say they're going to make a movie about you, but the story you just told sounds like a movie from 10, 20 years ago. You just changed esports with NBA or, some like Hoosiers, some high school football or high school basketball out of nowhere. That's insane.
Insane. It's just unbelievable. And then it just happened so fast because the game was a week, and I think the final game, and then you had a week, and then you played 2 series back-to-back days, and then the next week was the finals. So it was just like this. And when you're 3-6, you have to really take the mindset of one game at a time. Win, lose or go home, win or go home. So we kept that mindset throughout the whole season, and 4-6. Okay, one more game, 5-6. Go back home because you play two a week, and then just every day, every game, and just keeping our heads down, putting the foot on the gas, and knowing that we had, and that really brought us together as well
Yeah.
as a team. We were known as the closest group of guys. You could tell when we were on the stage, we were having fun. We enjoyed being around each other. We enjoyed playing together. It really showed it's indescribable how a team can come together and turn their season around. It really was a crazy sports story,
real
esports
close
story.
bond with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was life changing. It was.
So a lot of people may not know this, and myself included. When you're playing video games, you're playing online. You can play with anyone, anywhere in the world, right? So where are you based out of, and where do you compete at? Like, do you fly for different places? Like, is it a different city every time, or is it the same town? How does that work?
The regular season took place in New York City, so everybody would fly to New York City, stay there, and play at the Brooklyn studio, is what it's called. They had set up there for us, and then they had a tournament in Las Vegas and Orlando. So we had 2 tournaments outside of New York City, but everything else was in New York City. We'd fly there every week and play our games.
Wow. Yeah. So they're paying for your board, food occasionally. They're paying
and
you
flight.
a paycheck and flights.
It's the NBA. It's a real deal.
It sounds like it.
It's awesome.
Do you have a private jet, or do you fly?
Someday.
So
I wish.
Yeah, I didn't know how they fly you guys. You guys sit
Delta.
with
Delta all the way.
All right.
Rack up those miles.
Yeah, hear that? If you want to Delta, if you're listening, you want to sponsor, just
TRIFLIX.
reach out. Yeah, TRIFLIX LLC, man. All right. So what has been, as for you personally, not just talking about league now, and maybe it is part of the league. What has been the thing that you've taken away out of this experience, and you feel like you've learned and made a part of who you are? Is that the education wise? You aren't defined by the status quo. Like, what is that for you?
Yeah, definitely, probably the learning how to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey that you're on. Everybody's in a different walk of life. I was living in my parents' basement, feeling like a bum. But just sticking to what you do, working hard every day, trying to better yourself every day, be the best version of yourself that you can be, and that's something that I've learned and have tried to implement into my life, and I feel like I'm still learning it to an extent, but I've grown a lot in that area, and that's probably the biggest thing that I've been taught just through this whole process of failure, ups and downs, just emotional roller coaster. Just staying true to what you do, big man of faith,
right on,
and just trusting in the Lord with everything you do, knowing that He's got a plan for you, and I think that's big for me, and that's been huge in my life.
Dude, that's awesome. I think 3 out of the 4 guests we've had on have had proclaimed a faith of some sort.
Yeah.
Like all 3 out of the 4 were Christian. The 4th one, I didn't ask him. And I mean, to be honest, it doesn't, to me, I'm more interested in people's stories, but it is really interesting to see, maybe it's just the region that we're in, or the community that I've been a part of, and the connections that I've made. But I think that's really just kind of inspiring to see a lot of people with similar backgrounds to myself, being Christian, of course, and just seeing everybody do so well. And the thing is, like in your case and like Brian Kendrick's case, and now I'm not going to say that they're comparable by degree, but you have this story of being in a low place of a struggle. Brian Kendrick was the guest on last episode, who went from eating out of a dumpster to having a very large digital ministry and sharing his basically his heart and trying to help people avoid ever getting to that place that he was once in, but helping them through that recovery process. And in your case, I don't think there's too many things worse than to be a mid-20s, young 20s, whatever, teen living in your mom's basement, afraid of hitting the status quo of your neckbeard growing up. You're never going to amount to anything. You won't contribute to society.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just stuck with it. And you kept going and going and going. And eventually you got to a place where I think you can say that, you might have some joy and some happiness in it. Yeah.
Shout out Brian. I listened to his podcast on the way down here and was really moved and inspired by it, and what he talked about, just that change in heart and being motivated to love people and share his story. And I remember one thing he talked about was you get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And just a great topics that I listen to you guys talk about. Shout out, Brian.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. And also, if you watch that podcast, towards the last 15 minutes, the audio cuts out. For people that watch it on YouTube, which I highly recommend, we stated that the audio gives out because we had a technical difficulty with the microphone, switched to internal mic.
It's all good.
Luckily, that'll never happen again. We resolved that issue.
Just a bump in the road.
Yeah, bump. It's
all fixed now.
If that's the downslope of my story, then I lived a pretty good life, right?
We're good. Absolutely. That's what I like to hear.
Bad audio on one single last 15 minutes of a podcast.
Never again.
Never again, as far as I'm aware. Advice. You know what? Let's jump back. I skipped one. All right. I try to follow an outline just because I like to give everybody kind of an opportunity to fully explain themselves, and the outline that we've developed, I think, allows people to do that well. But I think you'll be able to answer this better than some of our other guests because this is very new, niche. Not a lot of people know about esports. What is the biggest misunderstanding you get about just everything that you do? If you have multiple, we can jump around, but like, what's the biggest one off the top of your head?
I mean, the biggest thing is when you're trying to get a girl and you tell you play video games, they're like, okay, no, we're good. Next. No, but seriously, that's when you tell people you're playing video games, they just look at you like, okay, you're a weirdo.
Have you considered leading with I played collegiate basketball?
Absolutely. We always try to put in we're with the NBA.
Huh.
And we play video games.
Are you actually commissioned? So I thought you were joking earlier.
We're paid by the NBA.
Really?
Yes. So it's NBA run.
Huh. Mm-hmm. So you just
NBA and Take-Two Interactive join together.
You're almost like LeBron James in a way because you just kind of skipped the college phase and went straight to the NBA.
Right.
Like
That's right.
You thought about it. You did it like once, twice through the shoulder.
Yeah.
Straight to NBA.
We don't need it. Just go right to the 2K league.
Yeah. Is there another misunderstanding that you want to share? Is that I feel like that's...
No, that's definitely the biggest one where they feel like you just play video games all day. You don't really have a social life.
Yeah. How's your shoulder, by the way?
It's okay. I had a doctor's appointment today. I'm pretty sure my labrum was torn again, so I have an MRI scheduled coming up. So please be praying for that.
Yes, of course.
But no, it's okay.
Yeah, you're good now.
It is decent.
So, ladies, if you like the sound of this guy's voice and you're just listening to the audio, he is over 6 foot. He played college ball. His shoulder's recovering, and he has his board and a steady paycheck right now. So I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot to offer.
It is. Yeah. But I do have a girl, so I hate to break all of your hearts.
Oh, man, that was an up and down for everybody listening.
Got him. It's tough. It's real tough out here, kids.
Oh, wow.
I thought I'd let you just say all the good things about me and then throw it in.
I just rolled over every woman's heart that was listening. Sorry.
There goes all the views.
So advice time. What do you got for people out there? I feel like you've said so many like wise things, especially for someone your age.
I am young. I'm a little boy.
I can tell.
22.
22.
I'm feeling 22.
Just a year younger.
Yeah, you're 23, right?
23.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your advice for people listening?
Advice is stay true to what you do. So much of my life, and especially growing up, you're so focused on yourself and what can I do to improve myself? How do I get better? And you're kind of just, it's a little selfish, but it's a good way. You need to be building yourself up and learning. Mm-hmm. But I would say look to other people, see what you can do to help improve them, your family, your friends, invest in their lives. And just pour into them, and you'll be surprised with how much return you'll get from that. People want to help you out, and they'll want to see you succeed. So many people have reached out to me, JoJo, how you doing? Congratulations on this and that. Before even making the league, of throughout that journey of process of making it to the league, of so many friends. JoJo, I know, I'm sorry you didn't make it the first season. Just stay with it, and that's because I've invested into them, and doesn't matter what I got a great buddy that is a mechanic, and it doesn't matter what kind of job you have. Everybody's special and needs to be loved and be cared for. And that's the biggest thing for me, is just invest in other people's lives. Relationships is everything to me in life. 2K is just a job, but the people around me make it what it is. And that team that we had was so much fun. and made it so much fun to be a part of. And money is just money. It's nice to have and you need it, but it is just a piece of paper, and not to be so invested into making money, but the relationships are huge to me.
That's great.
I'm just passionate about this. I know, getting into it.
Dude, that's the podcast, man.
This is awesome.
I'm passionate about passionate people. Like, I love having people come on and share their stories, whether it's good or bad, that they have something in them that they're driven. Whether it's making movies like Abby Saddam, or, just doing photography. That was a lost podcast, by the way, Ben Gluntz. Our server got deleted. We interviewed Ben. He actually works in the studio and set up all the cameras today. We might get that one back. Super passionate about photography, about kids. Like, he just has this heart of, I want to be a mentor. Everything you got going on right now, like, this is great. And we don't really have reoccurring questions in terms of, like, what's your goals, future, and all that stuff. We don't really have a reoccurring question of, like, something specific. Every podcast usually has one. One's like, what, do you have any ghost stories or something like that? Now, I don't want to hijack them, but now that I said it, do you have any ghost stories?
I do not.
No ghost stories. All right.
None.
All right. And then the one that I thought would be good is, a lot of people we have on here have these ups and downs, right? And when you're down, it's easy to get kind of bombarded with those negative thoughts. It's not always depression, but I think everyone gets to that point where you have a lot of negative thoughts. Did you ever get those negative thoughts?
Absolutely. I think, like you said, everybody does.
How did you deal with that personally? Did you ever find a cope or a way of handling that?
A lot of little things. It's funny how little things can to make the world a difference. Like just a text from your brother or a text from a friend that'll change your mindset that day. Or it is a day-to-day thing. And music. I love listening to music. NF is one of my favorite artists.
NF is insane.
I love listening to him. I relate to him so well, his music.
You need to go to a concert if you have.
I can't. I'm surprising my little brother and taking him to a concert.
This will probably be out after, if you're going to the Egyptian Room. It's like in this month, isn't it?
No, I'm going in April, but he's not going to listen to this. He won't know.
Okay, good.
I'll hide it from him.
Good. I'm glad he's not listening to my podcast.
He loves him too. Well, I'll hide this from him, but I know all the millions of people are going to be watching this and listening. So
of course,
yes. But I'm going to surprise him because I really want to go, and he really wants to go. So it's going to be awesome.
He's really good. So I've been to, I think, 3 or 4 of his concerts now. One as early back whenever the venue only had 100 people in it. To Egyptian Room last year was like a couple thousand. You get to one of his as soon as possible, because I guarantee in the next couple years it's going to be like
blowing up.
Chance the Rapper, like some high level performance.
He's a real deal.
He just came out with a new album.
I know. I literally listen to it all the time. I was listening all the way here. Just love it. But definitely music is a big thing for me to cope with just getting down, negative thoughts, and it's harder, especially when you're like, I don't know. I feel like playing video games like that in a basement. Like I was just like in this bad environment too. Like just get outside and go do something, or go to the gym. Be around people is big for just staying up, be positive, put a smile on your face. Yeah. Things like that.
Do you get 8 hours of sleep?
Rarely.
It's
like I've been getting more now, but especially in season, I would get like 3 to 4, and then before I went to the draft and then to Minnesota, I was getting probably 3 to 4 as well. But now that I'm back and I feel good, I'm actually sleeping about 8 hours. It's good.
There you go, man.
I'm trying to take care of my body.
Dude, I am a full believer that, mental issues occur. Like people can suffer from depression. I don't doubt it one bit, but I've heard a quote, something along the lines of like, if you're not getting enough of sleep, healthy food, that extroverted activities, whether it's interacting with people, you're not really giving yourself that fighting chance. So I think that's really good advice, man. To just get out, meet people.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's just good. Get you in a good mood.
All right. Well, I think we're wrapping up here. And with the wrap up, I want to ask, do you have anything that you want to say? Last words real quick.
Thank you for having me on. First of all, this is an awesome podcast. It's my first one ever. Like it's cool. I like this environment. I like being able to talk to people and tell my story and share just what's been going on with me. And just thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm sure this won't be your last podcast, whether it's with me or someone else.
I hope not.
You have like this, like, I don't want this to be an insult, but you got that like Logan Paul energy. Like you have like this elevated superhuman, like
we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah. It's a good thing, I think. Now he's a controversial dude. I'm not saying he is Logan Paul. I'm saying he's got that big energy. Yeah, dude, it's hard not to smile like when you're in the room. Like you just got this energy.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So okay, social media. Do you have anything that you want to plug?
I mean, if you are big on Twitch, DrJoJo 30.
DrJoJo
is the handle,
30.
and then Oetjen 23 on Twitter. Okay. They gave me a little blue check mark as well on Twitter for like all those that were in the league. So
really,
that's kind of cool.
Dude, you're verified.
Yeah, I'm verified on Twitter. So next step is Instagram. But yeah, Twitter's a big one. So
yeah, I bet that's I've heard there's actually like a test you have to take if you don't get the hand of God graced on you to just get the check. Like I hear there's like a test you have to take just to get past to verify who you are.
I wouldn't know. They just gave it to me. I'm blessed. We'll take it.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. And I really do enjoy your story. I enjoy like your presence. You have this great aura energy around you. It's hard not to.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Enjoy the time. So if you guys enjoyed the podcast, be sure to share this over to your friends. Share. Make sure you're following JoJo.
TRIFLIX.
Yeah, TRIFLIX, man. I appreciate that. We'll get this going, and if you guys are interested in being on, or you know of anybody that's creative, innovative, doing something unique or crazy out here in the world, whether they're local to Columbus, Indiana, or they're around the town, you know, if they're across the pond, we'll find a way to get them on here and just share their story. But with that, man, I really do appreciate you coming on. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And for the people watching, I hope you guys do as well. Catch you next week.
Peace out.
Peace.